Can I ask you something a little personal, hombre? When you first open your eyes in the morning, do you feel like you are ready to conquer the world? Or does your body feel like a heavy machine, struggling to start? Perhaps even like an old engine choking on stale fuel? This isn't just a personal question. It's a window into the health of your most vital organ. Many of my patients, over 60 men who've built careers, raised families, seen the world change from rotary phones to AI, tell me they feel a bit stiff, a bit slow, or even a bit dizzy in those crucial first moments. They've been led to assume it is just old age, a natural consequence, the inevitable price of a long and full life. They think it's just the body winding down, like a watch whose spring is losing tension. But as a physician who has spent decades studying the intricate dance of the aging brain, observing how economic shifts and global stresses impact our individual biology, I have to tell you the truth, and it's a truth you absolutely need to grasp for your vitality. That morning grogginess is not always just age. Sometimes, muchas veces, it is an early, urgent warning sign that your brain, your command center, is gasping for air, silently struggling against forces both internal and external. Think about it. The very world we inhabit today is designed for speed, for relentless information, for constant output. From the moment we wake, geopolitical tensions flash across our screens, economic anxieties simmer in the background, and the relentless pace of modern trade dictates much of our daily lives, influencing everything from the food on our plates to the medications in our cabinets. This constant hum of a demanding, high-pressure world doesn't just affect our minds, it fundamentally alters our physical state, especially as we age. After age 60, your brain enters the morning in its most fragile and vulnerable state of the entire day. It's like a nation's vital infrastructure after a long night of subtle, silent erosion. Your blood vessels, for instance, are not like those of a young man anymore. They are like the old pipes in an aging house, perhaps ones that have seen years of mineral buildup, stress from changing water pressures, and the general wear and tear of time. Over the years, and especially with the chronic, low-level stress from a rapidly changing world, they become a little stiffer, a little less pliable. They do not expand and contract as easily as they used to, not with the elastic snap of youth. This reduced flexibility means your internal delivery system is less efficient, less responsive, and more susceptible to blockages or sudden changes. Now layer on top of this natural process another critical factor. While you were sleeping for 7 or 8 hours a period when the world outside continued its relentless churn, perhaps even quietly building up new stresses for you, your body was steadily losing moisture. You wake up not fully refreshed, but in a state of mild, yet significant, dehydration. This isn't just about feeling thirsty. It's about a fundamental change in your internal chemistry. In medical terms, your blood viscosity increases. This simply means your blood is thicker, denser, and more sluggish. Imagine the global supply chain. When the rivers are low or the canals are congested, the movement of goods slows to a crawl, and the whole system becomes inefficient and vulnerable. The same applies to your blood. Thick blood is a formidable enemy of a healthy, vibrant brain, especially for men who want to maintain their sharp edge, their quick wit, their ability to lead and adapt. It forces your heart, a muscle that has been pumping tirelessly for decades, to work significantly harder, straining against increased resistance, almost like an old pump trying to push thick, heavy oil through narrow tubes. This effort doesn't just tax your heart, it creates a dangerous internal environment where 3 specific, insidious problems silently begin to manifest. Persistent muscle weakness, often dismissed as just getting old. Sudden bouts of dizziness, which can feel disorienting and frankly, dangerous. And a general sense of unsteadiness, making you feel less secure on your feet, perhaps even leading to falls. These aren't just minor inconveniences, they are physical symptoms directly stemming from an internal circulatory crisis. Many seniors, conditioned by a society that often normalizes the decline of age, ignore these early warning signs. They grab the edge of the bed, perhaps take a deep breath, and patiently wait for the dizzy spell to pass, or for the stiffness to miraculously ease. They attribute it to a vague notion of aging gracefully, unaware that they are actively missing a crucial opportunity to intervene. But listen closely, amigo. That dizzy spell is not just a fleeting moment of disorientation. It is your brain's silent, desperate scream for better circulation, a plea for the life-giving oxygen and nutrients it requires to function optimally. It's a physiological alarm bell, ringing softly at first, but with increasing urgency. This isn't a theoretical risk from a medical textbook. This is an immediate, palpable threat to your daily vitality and long-term cognitive health. When your blood becomes thick and sluggish in the morning, the risks are no longer abstract. They are imminent, lurking just beneath the surface of your morning routine, waiting for an opportunity to strike. If we do not actively and consciously address this morning thickening, this insidious slowing of your vital currents, we are, quite literally, leaving the door wide open for a stroke, a truly devastating event that can steal your independence, your memories, and your vibrant future in an instant. The global economic landscape, with its pressures and challenges, adds another layer of stress to our physiology, making these personal health hacks not just advisable, but absolutely essential for self-preservation and sustained peak performance. Now, let's zoom in on what happens when your internal supply chain breaks down. Think about your brain cells, your neurons, the very architects of your thoughts, memories, and actions. They are like delicate, highly specialized plants, thriving only with a constant, steady, and clean stream of vital nutrients and oxygen, meticulously delivered by your blood. When your blood is too thick, too viscous, that life-sustaining stream turns into a slow, muddy crawl, like a sluggish river choked with debris, barely able to reach the furthest, most delicate branches of those essential plants. This isn't just a metaphor. It's a physiological reality with profound consequences. This phenomenon is exacerbated by the pace of modern life, where stress, irregular sleep patterns, and the relentless demands of the information age conspire to push our bodies into a state of chronic low-grade inflammation and suboptimal function. We are often rushing, overstimulated, and consequently perpetually slightly dehydrated, unaware of the compounding effect this has on our vascular health. I remember a patient of mine, a 78-year-old man from Texas, a robust and proud rancher who embodied the spirit of self-reliance. He was active, maintained a sensible diet, and was generally in good health. Yet, he harbored one particular morning habit that was unknowingly eroding his brain health. He would wake up and, without fail, immediately reach for 2 large cups of strong, black coffee while engrossed in his morning paper, often following the geopolitical news with a keen, critical eye. He started noticing that his right hand would feel asleep for about 10 minutes every morning, a peculiar sensation he dismissed as a temporary quirk, a minor inconvenience of aging. He ignored it, attributing it to sleeping funny or just some fleeting nerve compression. But one fateful Tuesday, that asleep feeling didn't go away. It lingered, it intensified, and it was eventually diagnosed as a mini-stroke, a transient ischemic attack. His brain wasn't failing because of his age alone. It was failing because he was unknowingly doubling down on dehydration, precisely when his vessels were at their weakest and most vulnerable, effectively starving his brain in those crucial morning hours. The coffee, a stimulant, further constricted his already stiff vessels, making the problem worse, not better. The solution, mi amigo, is not to give up the things you love, like your cherished morning coffee or your morning ritual of catching up on world events. It's not about abstinence. It's about intelligent timing, about understanding the subtle yet powerful rhythms of your body, and about leveraging simple, natural hacks for maximum benefit. The first thing your body needs in the morning, before any stimulation, before any news, before any demanding task, is not a jolt of caffeine. It is optimized for circulation. Your internal rivers need to flow freely, unhindered. So, before you even think about touching that coffee pot, before you glance at the headlines, I want you to drink 8 to 10 ounces of warm water. Yes, warm water. And this isn't just a quaint old wives' tale. There's solid physiological science behind it, and it's a hack that can dramatically improve your morning health. Why warm water? Because cold water, especially when your system is vulnerable and slightly hypothermic from sleep, can shock the system. It can cause minor vessel constriction, tightening those already stiff pipes even further. Think of how an unexpected cold front can shock an unprepared economy, slowing down activity. Warm water, on the other hand, acts like a gentle, comforting wake-up call for your entire internal system. It's like easing an old engine into gear rather than revving it cold. It aids digestion, stimulates your metabolism, and most importantly, it immediately begins to rehydrate your cells, making your blood thinner and more fluid. This simple act of drinking warm water first is a potent, natural way of effectively thinning your blood, reducing its viscosity, and making it easier for your heart to pump. You are giving your hard-working heart an easier, less strenuous job, reducing the pressure and improving the flow to your brain. It's a minor adjustment in your routine, but a monumental act of self-care and prevention. Once your blood is moving smoothly, once that initial hydration has begun its work, your brain is shielded. It's no longer operating under crisis conditions. The internal pressure is eased, and the risk of sluggish blood causing problems is significantly reduced. Then, and only then, after giving your system a chance to recalibrate, wait about 20 minutes after your warm water before you have that first sip of coffee. This brief pause, this strategic timing, is absolutely critical. It allows the caffeine to give you its energizing effects without causing a dangerous, abrupt spike in your blood pressure while your blood is still in its thickest, most vulnerable state from the night. This small shift, this intelligent sequencing of your morning routine is not just a habit, it is a massive act of self-care for your brain, a conscious decision to prioritize your long-term cognitive health over immediate gratification. In a world where we often feel like pawns in larger economic or geopolitical games, this simple act is a powerful reclamation of personal control, a daily declaration that your health and vitality are non-negotiable assets. Now, let's peel back another layer of routine. Exposing a habit almost every senior in America, and indeed across many developed nations grappling with similar lifestyle shifts, does without a second thought. You wake up. Perhaps the first hint of morning light filters through your blinds, or the sound of the world stirring outside begins to penetrate your consciousness. You push yourself upright, perhaps with a slight groan, a testament to the night's stillness. And then you sit there. You sit on the edge of the bed for 5, 10, maybe even 20 minutes. For many, this is a sacred, silent ritual. Perhaps you are checking your smartphone, catching up on the overnight news from global markets or international conflicts. Maybe you're just staring at the wall, waiting for your body to wake up, to shed the lingering shadows of sleep. It feels safe. It feels gentle. It feels like the responsible, unhurried way to start the day, a moment of peaceful transition. But as your doctor, and as someone keenly aware of the subtle yet profound impacts of our environment on our physiology, I have to be brutally honest with you. This quiet stillness, this seemingly innocuous pause, is a hidden circulatory crisis for a body over 60. It's a silent betrayal, setting the stage for potential disaster. Think of it like this. For a body over 60, sitting absolutely still in the first hour of the day is akin to leaving a sophisticated car engine idling in the freezing cold. The oil is thick, the moving parts are stiff and sluggish, and if you don't get things moving, if you don't carefully warm up the system, something vital is eventually going to snap, to seize, or to fail prematurely. This isn't just common sense. It's a stark biological truth. The facts are undeniable, etched into the very fabric of our circulatory system. When you sleep, your circulation naturally slows down, your heart rate dips, your blood pressure lowers, and gravity is neutral because you are lying flat, allowing blood to distribute relatively evenly. It's a state of physiological equilibrium, a necessary nightly reset. But the moment you sit upright, gravity immediately begins its relentless work, pulling your blood inexorably toward your feet. In a younger, more resilient body, the veins are like strong, elastic bands, primed and ready for action. They snap shut with incredible efficiency, pushing that blood right back up to the heart and, crucially, to the brain. It's a marvel of biological engineering, a perfectly calibrated pump system. But as we age, those elastic bands get a little stretched out, a little worn from decades of service. Much like old rubber seals in an industrial pump, the tiny, delicate valves in your legs that are designed to prevent backflow, to ensure blood travels only one way, slowly begin to weaken. They become less efficient, less capable of their crucial task. When you sit still on the edge of the bed, perhaps scrolling through news headlines that elevate your baseline stress, your blood begins to stagnate, to pool. It gathers in your calves and ankles, creating a veritable traffic jam in your lower extremities. And because you are already dehydrated from the night, this pooled blood is not just stationary, it is also abnormally thick, dense, and sluggish, a potent combination for trouble. In the medical world, it's a well-established fact that stationary, thick blood is a prime breeding ground for clots, tiny, dangerous aggregations that can, in an instant, become life-threatening. While you are sitting there peacefully, perhaps contemplating your day or the latest economic report, your heart is struggling, working harder than it should. It is trying desperately to pump oxygen-rich blood uphill to your brain, but your legs are effectively holding that precious blood hostage, preventing its swift return. This creates a severe mismatch. Your brain, your ultimate command center, is desperately waiting for that invigorating surge of oxygen-rich blood to clear the morning fog, to ignite your cognitive processes, but your circulation is trapped, bogged down in your lower half. This is not just morning grogginess. This is a condition doctors call underperfusion. It is a dangerous state where your brain cells, starved of their vital supply, become incredibly vulnerable, susceptible to damage. If a microclot, one of those tiny aggregations of thick, stagnant blood, forms in your leg during this prolonged stillness, and you suddenly stand up, that clot can be launched like a pebble from a slingshot, propelled with alarming speed and force through your circulatory system. If it then lands and lodges in a narrow vessel in your brain, the result is an ischemic stroke, a sudden, catastrophic event that can permanently alter your life, your independence, and your future. This daily habit, seemingly innocent, carries an immense, silent risk, particularly in a world where we're constantly under pressure and where our bodies need every advantage we can give them. The silent danger of morning stillness is a theme I see far too often, amplified by the sedentary aspects of modern life, where even our leisure is often spent seated, gazing at screens. Consider Arthur, a retired teacher from Ohio, a man of profound intellect and rigid habits, a common trait among those who've navigated decades of complex systems, be it in a classroom or the corporate world. Arthur was a stickler for routine. Every morning, without fail, he would sit on the edge of his bed for precisely 15 minutes, a quiet moment he dedicated to prayer and meticulously planning his day, often reviewing his financial portfolio or reading historical analyses. He genuinely believed he was being peaceful, reflective, and responsible, preparing himself for the mental and physical demands of the day ahead. But Arthur started experiencing what he called morning flashes, tiny, inexplicable bursts of light in his vision, like fleeting cosmic dust, and a brief, unsettling clumsiness in his left hand, a momentary loss of fine motor control that would quickly pass. He dismissed these incidents, telling me with a sigh, "Doctor, I'm just getting old and slow. My body is telling me to retire from my ambition." But his body was telling him something far more urgent and specific. We performed a specialized scan, and the results were a revelation, a stark warning. Arthur didn't have one large, obvious stroke. Instead, his brain showed dozens of tiny, silent injuries, scattered like forgotten battle scars across his neural landscape. These are called lacunar infarcts, small lesions caused by blockages in the brain's deepest arteries. They were happening consistently, subtly, in those quiet 15 minutes when his blood was pooling, stagnant and thick, and his brain was literally starving for adequate blood flow, for the oxygen and nutrients it craved. His brain was, quite literally, being injured by his stillness, by a habit he believed was protective and restorative. It was an insidious process, slowly eroding his cognitive reserves without his conscious awareness. When we changed just one thing in Arthur's morning ritual, just one, mi amigo, those flashes stopped. We didn't prescribe a new, expensive pill. We didn't send him to a specialized clinic. We simply gave him a new movement. This is the power of simple, actionable hacks. You can reverse this insidious risk, this silent erosion, starting tomorrow morning. You do not need to join a gym, a luxury many find difficult to afford in today's economy. You do not even need to stand up yet, which can be challenging or unsafe for many older men immediately after waking. While you are sitting comfortably on the edge of the bed, still easing into the day, you must become your own circulatory pump. This is your personal intervention, your direct control over your physiology. I want you to try two simple, yet incredibly powerful movements: ankle rolls and toe flexing. Before you reach for your smartphone, before you get caught up in the digital currents of news and emails, before you even begin to think about your chores or the day's obligations, take command of your feet. Flex your toes up and down, pointing them towards your shins and then away, 10 times with each foot. Feel the muscles in your calves engage. Then rotate your ankles in circles, both clockwise and counterclockwise, 10 times in each direction. Do this deliberately, with focus. Why, you ask? Because your calf muscle is often, and accurately, called the second heart. It's a physiological marvel, a powerful, natural pump. When you flex your calf muscles, they physically squeeze the veins, acting like a powerful compression system, forcing that stagnant, thick blood from your lower legs back toward your chest, back toward your heart. and ultimately back to your brain. This simple rhythmic action breaks up the traffic jam in your lower extremities. It clears the muddy blood that is pooled overnight and sends a fresh, invigorating wave of oxygen-rich blood surging up to your brain. Think of it as your very first act of self-care and empowerment for the day, a proactive measure against the hidden dangers of morning stillness. You are, in essence, sending a direct message to your brain. Help is on the way. The vital flow is restored. If you can commit to just 60 seconds, a mere minute, of this purposeful movement before you allow yourself to stay still, you are actively building a powerful shield against a morning stroke, safeguarding your cognitive function and preserving your independence. This isn't just a physical exercise, it's a strategic move in the game of longevity, a tangible way to counteract the forces that seek to diminish your vitality. Does this make sense to you, caballero? Have you ever felt that unsettling heaviness in your legs, that sluggishness, or that persistent fog in your head while sitting quietly on the bed in the morning? Share your story in the comments. We are a community here, men committed to thriving, and your experience, your hack, might be the very insight someone else needs to hear to save themselves from a similar, silent injury. Among my older patients across the United States, and indeed globally, where similar lifestyle patterns prevail, there's a minute, perhaps two, in the early morning that stands out as arguably the most dangerous of the entire day. It's a moment of urgency, driven by a primal physiological need, often compounded by societal expectations of efficiency and speed. You wake up with a full bladder. It's urgent. It's uncomfortable, and for many, it's the most compelling reason to abandon all measured movements. Your first instinct, a deeply ingrained habit, is to throw the covers off, propel yourself upright with a surge of willpower, and rush straight to the bathroom, perhaps even at a half jog. It feels like an undeniable necessity, a biological imperative that overrides all other considerations. But for an adult over 60, this sudden, unthinking sprint, this abrupt transition from horizontal rest to vertical haste, is not just ill-advised, it is a massive, potentially catastrophic shock to your entire cardiovascular system. It's an unnecessary stressor in a world already replete with them, from fluctuating market news to unsettling geopolitical developments that can trigger anxiety. In the medical world, we have a precise term for this phenomenon: orthostatic stress. When you are lying down, your blood pressure is naturally lower and steady, operating in a state of relative calm. But the moment you jump up suddenly, gravity asserts its dominion, pulling your blood inexorably and instantly toward your feet. In a younger body, your heart and your blood vessels are incredibly responsive. They react with lightning speed, tightening up, constricting judiciously to maintain blood flow to your brain, ensuring that precious cargo remains adequately supplied with oxygen. It's a beautifully choreographed reflex, an automatic physiological dance. However, as we age, that crucial reflex slows down. Your vessels, as we've discussed, are a bit stiffer, a bit less elastic, less responsive to sudden commands. Your heart, while still heroic, takes a few extra seconds to catch up, to compensate for the sudden gravitational shift. If you rush, if you succumb to that urgency and bolt to the bathroom, your brain is left briefly unprotected, starved of oxygen precisely for the very seconds you are moving the fastest, demanding the most from your system. This isn't a vague risk. It's a measurable period of cerebral ischemia, where your brain is struggling for breath, for fuel. The risk escalates even further once you reach the bathroom and begin to urinate, especially after holding it all night. At this point, your body often engages in what we call the Valsalva maneuver. This is a fancy medical term for straining, for holding your breath while increasing internal pressure, the kind of pressure you might exert when lifting something heavy or having a bowel movement. For a 30-year-old, this is usually nothing more than a momentary physiological blip, quickly compensated for. But for someone over 60, whose cardiovascular system is already under strain, whose vessels are less forgiving, this creates what I call a pressure storm. You've already experienced a sudden drop in blood pressure from standing too fast, and now the strain of urination causes it to spike suddenly and dramatically. These rapid, violent waves of pressure, this physiological roller coaster, are precisely what can cause fragile vessels in the brain to rupture, leading to a hemorrhagic stroke or cause plaque already loosened by years of wear and tear, and perhaps inflammatory processes exacerbated by stress from economic anxieties or global news to break loose. These sudden, extreme fluctuations are a direct assault on your brain's delicate architecture. I remember a 76-year-old woman from Michigan, a vibrant and independent soul, who had frequent blackouts in the bathroom. She would describe them as brief moments of confusion, a momentary dimming of her surroundings. She initially dismissed them, thinking it was just her heart skipping a beat, a minor age-related anomaly. In reality, she was experiencing tiny mini-strokes, or TIAs, transient ischemic attacks, repeatedly triggered by the rush to the bathroom and the subsequent strain of urination. Her brain simply couldn't handle the rapid, extreme roller coaster of blood pressure in those first critical 2 minutes of her day. Each blackout was a small battle her brain was losing, slowly accumulating damage. The solution, mi amigo, is deceptively simple, but it demands patience and a conscious override of ingrained habits. I call it the rule of three, a quick, natural hack to re-engineer your morning safely. 1. The first pause. Sit on the edge of the bed for a full 30 seconds. Do not rush this. Use this time constructively by performing your ankle rolls and toe flexes, as we discussed in part 3, actively pumping blood back to your brain. This allows your cardiovascular system to begin stabilizing gradually. 2. The second pause. Stand up slowly, deliberately, not with a sudden burst of energy. As you rise, hold on to a sturdy piece of furniture, your nightstand, the bed frame, a wall for at least 10 seconds. Allow your blood pressure to stabilize, giving your heart and vessels time to adjust to the vertical position. Let the world stop spinning. Literally, this is your body recalibrating, a crucial moment of physiological adjustment. 3. The gentle walk. Finally walk to the bathroom at a normal, unhurried pace. Do not run. Do not strain. This controlled movement minimizes further orthostatic stress and allows your body to maintain a steady, safe blood flow to your brain. Think of it this way, caballero. Your brain is the most precious cargo in the world, more valuable than any rare commodity or geopolitical advantage. You wouldn't throw a priceless diamond across a room. You would carry it carefully, protectively, with utmost respect. By slowing down, by embracing this rule of three, you are giving your heart and brain the precious time they need to communicate effectively, to synchronize their efforts, and to stay safe from sudden shocks. It's a powerful, free, and immediate hack against a significant morning danger, a direct investment in your sustained health and independence. Does your heart race when you stand up too fast? Have you ever felt that unsettling head rush, that momentary dizziness in the morning? Tell me about it in the comments. Your near-miss story might be the wake-up call someone else needs to hear today, a testament to the power of shared experience and simple life-saving adjustments. I want to talk about a trend that is incredibly popular right now, almost ubiquitous, especially among those striving for peak performance or what they perceive as optimal health. It's often promoted by wellness gurus and social media influencers, But for someone over 60, particularly for a man whose physiological landscape has shifted, it can be a silent, insidious invitation to a stroke, a grave misstep in the pursuit of vitality. Many of my patients, from diverse backgrounds, tell me variations of the same thing. Doctor, I'm not hungry in the morning, so I skip breakfast. Or I'm trying intermittent fasting to stay healthy and sharp, like the entrepreneurs I admire. So they wake up, perhaps drink black coffee, diligently take their morning medications, often for blood pressure or other chronic conditions, and then head straight into the demanding day on an empty stomach, facing the news, their work, or their daily responsibilities. To you, this might feel like admirable discipline, a sign of mental fortitude, or a strategic health choice aligned with current trends. You might feel a sense of control, an empowering rejection of conventional eating schedules, but to your sophisticated brain, your body's ultimate command center, this feels like a profound crisis, a state of emergency that triggers a cascade of detrimental physiological responses. During the long hours of the night, even as you rest, your body is diligently burning through its stored energy reserves, primarily glycogen, to keep your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and all your vital organs functioning. By the time you wake up, after perhaps 7 or 8 hours of this essential internal work, your fuel tank is dangerously near empty. This is a critical point. As we age, our bodies are not as efficient or as quick at releasing backup energy from the liver. The liver's ability to convert stored glycogen into glucose, or to perform gluconeogenesis, creating new glucose from non-carbohydrate sources, diminishes. This inefficiency leads directly to morning hypoglycemia, a state of low blood sugar. You might not feel lightheaded or faint, which are extreme symptoms, but this subtle, chronic low blood sugar makes your brain incredibly vulnerable, operating at a severe disadvantage. When your brain, that energy-hungry organ that consumes roughly 20% of your body's glucose, senses it is running out of fuel, it doesn't just quietly endure, it panics. It perceives this energy deficit as an existential threat. In response, it sends an urgent, primal signal to your adrenal glands, those tiny stress factories perched atop your kidneys. This signal triggers a rapid release of powerful stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed for fight or flight scenarios, for moments of acute danger when you need a surge of energy and heightened alertness to survive. But in this context, they are doing immense harm. They force your blood vessels to tighten and constrict dramatically, and they cause your blood pressure to spike, sometimes quite severely, all in a desperate, last-ditch attempt to mobilize more energy, to push available glucose to the brain. You are effectively starting your day in a high-stress, fight-or-flight mode without even consciously knowing it, before any external stressors have even entered your awareness. This internal panic doesn't just raise your blood pressure to dangerous levels, it fundamentally changes the very composition of your blood. Low blood sugar, combined with the stress hormones, makes your platelets, the tiny cells responsible for initiating blood clotting, become sticky, abnormally prone to clumping together. When you combine this sticky blood with the dehydration from the night and the vessel stiffness that comes with age, you create the absolute perfect storm for a dangerous clot to form and travel to the brain, causing an ischemic stroke. This sequence of events, seemingly benign in its origin, is a direct pathway to neurological damage. I remember a 72-year-old man from Florida, a meticulous investor who was a firm believer in the benefits of skipping breakfast, convinced it sharpened his focus. He would take his blood pressure pills and blood thinners every morning with nothing but a glass of water and black coffee, a ritual he saw as efficient and healthy. He started having what he called shaky mornings. His hands would tremble uncontrollably. He felt a strange internal jitteriness, and he couldn't remember where he put his keys, often getting frustrated and anxious. He feared it was the onset of Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, the dreaded specters of cognitive decline. It wasn't. He was experiencing tiny morning strokes, microvascular events, because his medications were hitting his empty system too hard, causing his blood pressure to crash dangerously low and then spike violently as his body scrambled for fuel. His brain was simultaneously starving for glucose and being hammered by extreme pressure fluctuations, a truly destructive combination. You do not need a three-course meal, mi amigo. You do not even need to feel hungry. This isn't about satiating appetite. It's about providing essential fuel. Think of your morning bite as medicine, as a critical preventive measure. I call it the brain shield. Give your brain a small, steady amount of sustained fuel within the first hour of waking. This is a fast, free, natural hack to protect your most valuable asset. A few walnuts, rich in omega-3 seconds and protein, a hard-boiled egg, a perfect package of protein and healthy fats, or a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt, providing sustained protein and beneficial probiotics. These foods are strategic. They provide protein and healthy fats that stabilize your blood sugar, preventing the dangerous dips and spikes. They effectively stop the panic surge of stress hormones, allowing your vessels to relax and your blood pressure to remain stable. They also provide a crucial buffer for your morning medications, allowing them to absorb slowly and work effectively without shocking your system or causing precipitous drops or dangerous increases in blood pressure. When you eat that small, intentional bite, you are sending a powerful, calming message to your nervous system. We are safe. We have fuel. You can relax. This simple act is not just about nutrition. It's about profound self-regulation in a chaotic world, a direct investment in your cognitive resilience. Do you skip breakfast because you aren't hungry? Or do you take your pills on an empty stomach because it's faster, more convenient, fitting into the hurried pace of modern life? Please, type 1 if you usually eat breakfast, or 0 if you skip it. Let's see how many of us are consciously protecting our command center, empowering ourselves against these subtle, yet significant threats to our vitality. Of all the habits I observe in older Americans today, and indeed among the demographic of men over 60 globally, this next one is quietly, insidiously becoming perhaps the most destructive to our precious brain health. It doesn't involve your diet, your movement, or even your medication schedule. It involves your peace, your inner calm, and your ability to control the gateway to your mental landscape. For many of you, the very first thing you do, even before you swing your legs out of bed, before your feet touch the floor, is reach for that ubiquitous smartphone, that glowing rectangle, a conduit to the entire world's information, becomes your instant morning companion. You check the news, scrolling through headlines that often detail geopolitical instability, economic downturns, or social unrest. You look at your emails, perhaps finding work demands or urgent requests, or you simply turn on the television to see what happened in the world while you were sleeping, allowing the cacophony of global events to flood your senses. You believe you are just staying informed, being a responsible citizen, keeping abreast of the currents that shape our world, from stock market fluctuations to international relations. You feel it keeps you sharp, connected, and prepared. But to your 60, 70, or 80-year-old nervous system, which has become more sensitive and less resilient to acute stress, this immediate digital immersion is not gentle information absorption. It is a violent physiological jolt. Consider this crucial biological fact. between approximately 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., your body is already experiencing a natural, significant peak in cortisol, your primary stress hormone. This isn't bad in itself. It's your body's ancient built-in mechanism for revving the engine, preparing you to wake up to face the day's challenges. It's a necessary biological surge. But when you intentionally and often subconsciously add the emotional stress of a political headline, a worrying email about finances, a tragic news story from across the globe, or a contentious social media post on top of that natural cortisol peak, you don't just amplify it. You create a profound, destructive pressure storm within your body. Your blood pressure is already naturally rising from sleep, and your blood is already thick from the night's dehydration. Suddenly, you flood your entire system with another surge of adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone, in response to perceived threats. Even if they are abstract or distant, your heart begins to race, pounding against your ribs, and your already stiff, less pliable blood vessels tighten even further, constricting under the combined assault of internal chemistry and external digital chaos. This is not how a wise, experienced man should begin his day. In my clinic, I have seen the direct, undeniable results of this digital shock on the cardiovascular and neurological health of my patients. I vividly recall treating a 72-year-old Vietnam veteran from Texas, a man whose resilience was forged in fire, but whose nervous system bore the scars of a lifetime of stress. He started every day the same way, watching a particular news program that, by his own admission, made his blood boil with frustration and anger over perceived injustices or political divisions. He felt it kept him sharp, engaged, and vigilant, a continuation of his duty to stay informed. But he started having brief, alarming episodes where he couldn't find his words at the breakfast table, a fleeting aphasia that left him frustrated and confused. He also reported a strange, unsettling tingling in his face, like a swarm of tiny insects. His blood pressure logs, meticulously kept once we established the routine, told the chilling story. His pressure would jump a staggering 30 points, often more, within 10 minutes of turning on the TV and engaging with the news. He wasn't just feeling stressed. He was suffering from recurrent transient ischemic attacks, TIAs, mini strokes. His delicate brain vessels were being hammered relentlessly by these acute stress-induced pressure spikes before his body had even finished its crucial process of waking up and stabilizing. When your vessels are constricted by such intense stress, they become incredibly vulnerable. They can easily trap a microclot, a tiny fragment of thick, sluggish blood, or even rupture, leading to more severe events. This is precisely why a disproportionately higher number of strokes occur in the morning hours than at any other time of day. Your brain, in those early, vulnerable moments, is caught in a dangerous crossfire of internal chemistry and external emotional assault. I want to give you a new rule, a life-saving hack for your longevity and sustained cognitive function, the 10-minute buffer. Your brain needs a soft landing into the day, a gentle transition, not a violent impact. For the first 10 minutes after you wake up, keep the world at bay. This is non-negotiable. No news, no emails, no social media, no demanding digital input. This is your sacred, protected time. Instead, use those 10 minutes to consciously breathe deeply, slowly, filling your lungs and calming your nervous system. Look out the window at the sky, at nature, finding something tangible and peaceful to anchor your senses. Think of 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for, cultivating an internal state of appreciation. Listen to the quiet sounds of your home, allowing your mind to gently awaken without external noise. By choosing calm over chaos, By deliberately establishing this peaceful buffer, you are keeping your cortisol levels in a safe, healthy zone. You are allowing your blood pressure to stabilize naturally, without forced spikes. Think of it as your brain's daily shield, a protective barrier against the onslaught of modern life. You wouldn't walk into a storm without a sturdy coat. Do not walk into the day's inevitable stress without this buffer of peace. This simple, free, and powerful hack is a direct investment in your longevity and cognitive resilience, allowing you to face the day's complexities with greater clarity and a stronger, more protected brain. Does the news make you feel anxious or frustrated in the morning? Do you feel that undeniable jolt when you check your phone and see a challenging headline or a demanding email? Please share your experience in the comments. Let's talk about how we can collectively reclaim our morning peace, fortify our brains, and empower ourselves against the pervasive stress of the digital age. There is a phrase, a seemingly innocent declaration I hear almost every single day in my clinic, and each time it makes my heart sink a little. A patient, often a man over 60 with a lifetime of experience and wisdom, will say with conviction, "Doctor, I feel fine, so I didn't think I needed to check my blood pressure this morning." This, mi amigo, is what I call the silent gap, a dangerous void in self-awareness that leaves you profoundly vulnerable. For adults over 60, blood pressure is not a loud, dramatic symptom. It is a ghost, an invisible force. It does not always cause a pounding headache that warns you of its presence. It does not always make your chest tight or cause any noticeable discomfort. It can be dangerously, catastrophically high while you are sitting there calmly, sipping your warm water, utterly unaware of the internal assault on your delicate blood vessels. This silence is its greatest danger, its most potent weapon against your health. In medicine, we recognize a specific and insidious phenomenon called morning hypertension. This isn't just a random fluctuation. It's a predictable, physiologically driven event. Because of the natural cortisol peak that prepares your body for the day and the dehydration we discussed earlier, which thickens your blood pressure naturally reaches its most volatile, most elevated, and most dangerous point precisely between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. This 4-hour window, for many older men, is the danger window of your day. If you are only checking your blood pressure in the afternoon when you are relaxed, or in the evening before bed, you are looking at a false map. You are gathering data from a period when your body is less stressed, less active, and potentially less prone to extreme spikes. You might erroneously think you are safe, that your numbers are perfectly acceptable, while every single morning, your brain vessels are being relentlessly hammered by a silent surge of pressure, a damaging force you are completely unaware of. It's like navigating treacherous waters at night without a compass, convinced the daytime calm will hold. I once cared for a 7-8-year-old man from Virginia named Harold, a proud, self-reliant individual who worked his own land and prided himself on never needing doctors or pills, a sentiment common among men of his generation who value independence. Harold only checked his pressure once a month, usually at the local pharmacy, a quick, convenient stop during his errands. It was always normal. He would tell me with satisfaction around 125/80, seemingly healthy numbers. But Harold started having what he described as morning wobbles. He would stand up and feel like he was on a small boat in rough seas, unsteady, disoriented for a few moments, struggling to regain his balance. He dismissed it as just getting a bit old, a natural consequence of declining equilibrium. I urged him, insisted he buy a simple, inexpensive home blood pressure monitor, a powerful, accessible hack, and check his pressure the moment he sat on the edge of the bed each morning, before any activity. The results were terrifyingly clear. While his afternoon pressure was indeed normal, his morning pressure was consistently spiking to an alarming 185 over 100, sometimes even higher. He was literally living on the precipice of a major stroke every single morning and had absolutely no idea because he felt fine. His body was silently screaming for help, and he couldn't hear it because he wasn't looking in the right place at the right time. High morning pressure, especially when combined with thick blood pushing through narrow, stiff vessels, is the perfect, catastrophic recipe for a rupture, a hemorrhagic stroke, or a massive, deadly clot. When we caught this silent surge in Harold, when we empowered him with data and adjusted his morning schedule and eventually his medication timing, we likely saved him from a devastating, life-altering event. He avoided paralysis, speech loss, and the loss of his beloved independence. Your blood pressure monitor is not just a piece of plastic and electronics, mi amigo. It is your shield, your early warning system, your personal geopolitical intelligence on the state of your internal body. I want you to make a pact with yourself, starting tomorrow morning. Before you let the stress of the day in, before you engage with the news or your emails, and before you head to the kitchen for coffee, spend 60 seconds, just 1 minute, measuring your pressure. Do it consistently. Write it down. Keep a log, perhaps a simple notebook by your bed. This raw, consistent data is more valuable to me as your doctor than almost any expensive, high-tech hospital scan because it tells us exactly how your internal pipes are handling the critical morning transition, how resilient your system is under its natural daily stress. If you see a high number, do not panic. Simply breathe deeply, drink your warm water, and gently move your ankles, following the hacks we've already discussed. But knowing that number, that objective data point, gives you the immediate power to act, the ability to course correct. It removes the silent from the danger, transforming an invisible threat into a manageable challenge. It's a crucial step in maintaining your sovereignty over your own health. Do you own a blood pressure monitor at home? And more importantly, do you use it consistently in the morning during that critical danger window? Please comment yes if you check it, or need to start if you haven't yet. Let's make sure we aren't leaving our precious brains unprotected during the most dangerous hour of the day, allowing preventable damage to accrue silently. After seeing all these hidden triggers, all these insidious ways our modern routines can unknowingly compromise our brain health, you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in, especially when the demands of a complex world, economic pressures, family responsibilities, and the sheer volume of information we process daily already tax our mental and physical reserves. But I want you to remember one profoundly important thing, mi amigo. Your body is inherently wise. It possesses an ancient, deep-seated intelligence. It has taken care of you diligently and tirelessly for decades, carrying you through triumphs and challenges, through times of peace and periods of stress. And even now, in your later years, it desperately wants to keep protecting you, to keep you vibrant and sharp. It just needs you to provide the right tools, the correct sequence of actions, and the timely support it requires. It's like giving a seasoned craftsman the right, well-maintained tools to do his best work. Instead of continuing to start your day by unknowingly shocking and stressing your cardiovascular system, I want to give you a simple, yet profoundly powerful routine. I call it the Golden 10 Minutes. This isn't a grueling workout that demands peak physical condition. This isn't a complex meditation practice that requires years of training. This is a healing ritual designed for men over 60 specifically engineered to gently open your vessels, stabilize your system, and shield your brain before the world rushes in with its demands and distractions. It's your personal, daily investment in sustained vitality. A quick hack to optimize your internal systems. Step 1. The peaceful awakening. 2 minutes. When you first open your eyes and become aware of the new day, stay still for a moment. Resist that automatic urge to reach for your phone, to immediately engage with the digital world. Lie there in peace. Take 3 deep, slow, diaphragmatic breaths. Feel your lungs fill completely with fresh air, and then exhale slowly, deliberately. This simple act, performed before you even move a muscle, floods your blood with fresh, vital oxygen, signaling to your nervous system that you are safe, that you are in control. It's a profound, free, calming agent that sets a positive physiological tone for the entire day. Step 2. The circulatory pump. 2 minutes. Gently, slowly, deliberately sit up on the edge of your bed. Don't rush this transition. While you sit there, with your feet flat on the floor or dangling, perform your ankle rolls and toe flexes. Engage those calf muscles. You are not just exercising, you are consciously waking up your second heart in your calves, actively pushing that stagnant, thick blood from your lower extremities back toward your heart and, crucially, toward your brain. This ensures that your brain receives a fresh, invigorating supply of oxygenated blood before you even take your first step. It's a direct, physical intervention against morning sluggishness and the risk of clot formation. Step 3. The 60-second shield. 1 minute. Now and only now, after you've completed the initial 2 steps, is the optimal time to check your blood pressure. Use that home monitor we discussed. Capture your numbers while your body is in its true, transitioning morning state, before the full demands of the day, before any coffee or intense activity. This isn't just a number. It is your most important health data of the day. It's your personal intelligence report on your cardiovascular resilience. This knowledge empowers you, giving you tangible information to discuss with your doctor and to adjust your daily choices. Step 4. Hydrate and fuel 5 minutes. Gently stand up, maintaining your balance, perhaps holding onto furniture as a precaution. Walk calmly to the kitchen. Take out that glass of water you likely prepared the night before and drink 10 ounces of warm water. This immediately begins to thin your blood, reversing the overnight dehydration. Follow this immediately with a small, intentional bite of protein, a few walnuts, a hard-boiled egg, or a spoonful of plain yogurt. This brain shield provides crucial, stable fuel, preventing the dangerous blood sugar dips and stress hormone surges that can damage your brain and blood vessels. Protecting your brain after 60 isn't about expensive surgeries, exotic supplements, or miracle pills marketed by opportunistic companies. It is about the profound respect you show your body in that critical first hour of the day. It's about empowering yourself with simple, scientifically backed, free hacks. I often have patients tell me, "Doctor, I've lived this way for 40 years, and I'm fine. Why change now?" And I always tell them this undeniable truth. Your 60-year-old arteries are not your 20-year-old arteries. They are more experienced, yes, bearing the wisdom of decades, but they are also less forgiving, less resilient, and more susceptible to damage. They need more grace, more patience, and significantly more hydration and gentle movement. Do not wait for a stark, frightening warning sign like a numb hand, blurred vision, or a sudden dizzy spell to start caring. Treat every glass of warm water, every ankle roll, every moment of morning peace as a profound thank you to the incredible body that has carried you through life, allowing you to experience, to learn, and to achieve. You can be healthy, sharp, and vibrant at any age, as long as you don't let stillness, dehydration, and unthinking rush betray you. This is your birthright as a man of wisdom and experience. I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now, a commitment to your future self. Tomorrow morning, choose just one of these changes to implement. Just one. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Small, consistent steps lead to massive, lasting transformation. If you are going to commit to drinking your warm water before your coffee, before your news, before your demands, type "I am committed" in the comments below. I read these, and I am cheering for you, personally, every single day. If you found these insights valuable, if they resonated with your desire for sustained vitality, please send this video to your friends and family, to other men who share your journey. We are building a powerful community of seniors who choose to be proactive about their health, who choose empowerment over passive acceptance. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. I have so much more to share with you about protecting your precious brain, about thriving, not just surviving. As we close our time together today, I want to leave you with one final thought, one potent seed for reflection. Your health, your cognitive sharpness, your continued vitality is not a matter of pure luck, of genetic lottery, or even solely of access to expensive medical care. It is fundamentally a matter of the small, quiet, conscious choices you make when the sun comes up, when the new day dawns. If there was only one thing you could change about your morning, right now, to feel 10 years younger, sharper, more energetic, where would you start? Is it the warm water? Is it the ankle rolls? Or is it finally giving yourself permission to have 10 minutes of pure, undisturbed peace before the world rushes in? Please share your answer in the comments. When you share, you inspire others in our community to take that first crucial step toward safety, toward strength, toward a more vibrant life. But there is one more vital piece to this puzzle of morning vitality, caballero. We've talked extensively about what to stop doing, what habits to change, what to avoid. But do you know what your brain is actually craving, actively hungering for? To stay sharp, to maintain memory, to resist cognitive decline, especially after 60? In my next video, I am going to reveal the 3 brain-fueling foods that can reverse memory decline after 60. Most people think these are just common, everyday snacks, things you might overlook at the grocery store. But for your neurons, for your precious brain cells, they are a powerful, natural defense against the relentless march of aging, a potent tool for sustained cognitive function, especially in a world that increasingly demands our mental acuity. Your mornings matter, and so does your health, your clarity, your wisdom. I am Dr. Brain, and I'll see you in the next video. Protect your brain before it needs saving.